It's a heavy question, isn't it? I mean, really think about it. Is there a point of no return? This question is right at the heart of the story we're exploring today. Let's see what kind of answer this ancient narrative has for us.
Okay, so to really get the power of what happens later, we first have to understand just how desperate things were for the man at the center of this story. This is a picture of absolute torment.
I mean, just look at this list. It paints such a bleak picture. This wasn't just a guy having a bad day. He was a total outcast, living among the tombs, a place for the dead, a place seen as unclean and totally cut off from life. The community tried to restrain him, with chains, but whatever was going on inside him gave him this almost superhuman strength to just shatter them. He was completely alone, trapped in this horrible cycle of screaming and hurting himself.
And this is the crucial part to understand. His outer world was just a direct reflection of his inner reality. The violence and the isolation that everybody saw on the outside, that was just the surface. Underneath, he was drowning in this deep, overwhelming chaos.
So this is rock bottom. It seems like all hope is completely lost. But then, an unexpected visitor arrives on the scene, and everything is about to change.
And instantly, something incredible happens. Despite all the chaos raging inside of him, the man sees Jesus from a distance, and his reaction is just shocking. He doesn't attack, he runs to him and falls down at his feet. It's like, even in all his torment, some part of him recognized that peace itself had just arrived on the shore.
Now think about this for a second. Instead of reacting to this guy's terrifying reputation, Jesus sees past the broken chains and the chaos, and he asks this simple, direct question that honors the person underneath it all. What is your name?
The response is just chilling. He doesn't give his own name. He gives the name of what's oppressing him, Legion. It's a name that just screams the horror of being completely outnumbered, of having your own identity totally erased by this overwhelming force.
To really feel the weight of that answer, you have to know what legion meant back then. A Roman legion was this massive, occupying military force, thousands of soldiers strong. So by saying this was his name, the man was basically describing his soul as occupied territory, just crushed under the weight of an entire invading army. So that sets the stage for the climax. How in the world do you free one person from what feels like an entire army? Well, the answer is both powerful and pretty unexpected.
The whole thing is so quick, so decisive. Jesus just speaks, and the forces that were tormenting this man, the story calls them demons, representing this deep chaos, they have to obey. They actually bargained to go into a nearby herd of pigs, which were considered unclean animals in that culture. Jesus says okay, and then, in this final dramatic display of their destructive nature, they drive the entire herd right off a cliff and into the sea.
The chaos is gone. The torment is over. In a single moment, the battle that had been raging inside this man for years just comes to a sudden, complete stop. He is totally and completely free.
But hey, the man's freedom isn't actually the end of the story. Now we get to see the fallout. How does a community react when something this impossible happens right in front of them? Well, it turns out in two very, very different ways.
This is the after picture. When the townspeople show up, the man they knew, that wild, screaming figure from the tombs, is just gone. In his place is a man sitting there peacefully, fully clothed and completely in his right mind. The change is just undeniable.
And here's where it gets kinda wild. The townspeople see this incredible miracle, but their reaction isn't joy. It's not relief. It's fear. They're so freaked out by this raw display of power that they actually ask Jesus to leave. Meanwhile, the one person who truly gets what just happened, the man who was set free, is filled with nothing but gratitude and wants to stay. But Jesus gives him a different mission. He doesn't say, "Yeah, come follow me." He tells him to go back. Go back to the very people who only knew him in his brokenness and be a living, walking, talking example of the mercy he just received.
And that is exactly what he does. The man who was once defined by his chains becomes defined by his freedom. He travels all over the region, a network of 10 cities they called the Decapolis, and he becomes this living testimony, simply telling everyone what had been done for him.
So why does this ancient story still hit so hard today? What are the big truths that we can pull from it for our own lives right now? If this story teaches us anything, it's this: no one is a lost cause. Seriously, no one is too broken, too isolated, or too far gone to be reached.
This isn't just some old story. Its theme is absolutely timeless. The idea that there's a power strong enough to break the things that hold us captive, whether that's stuff inside of us or stuff outside of us. That is a message of profound hope that is just as real today as it was back then.
And that brings us to one final thought. The man was sent to tell his story, and it ended up changing a whole region. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if your story of overcoming, of finding your own freedom from whatever's held you, what if that story isn't just for you?
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share.